This is the 23rd annual Martin Luther King Day celebration for the town of Paradise Valley. I'm John Winterstein, the co-chair of the MLK Planning Committee. Here is Jerry Bien Wilner, the mayor of the town of Paradise Valley, who will do the opening welcome. He'll be followed by Sherry Baharamian, chair of the Paradise Valley Baha'i Local Spiritual Assembly.
Hello and welcome to the first ever virtual Paradise Valley Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration, which is, I believe, the 23rd annual event. I am Mayor Jerry Bien Wilner of the town of Paradise Valley, and I'm very proud and honored to welcome you all to this wonderful event. This has been a challenging year around the globe in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Many other challenges have also surfaced or resurfaced this year, including, of course, the continuing struggles for racial justice and equality. Many have suffered greatly, and many continue to suffer. While we are optimistic that things will get better, and belief is always the first part of forward movement, it takes more than belief. It takes action from all of us. Fittingly, the theme chosen by the host committee of this year's celebration is Belief into Action. I have been very privileged to see the belief and experience the action of the Paradise Valley community to continue the bend towards justice as we focus on and continue to pursue equal rights, equal justice, and a better future for all. The organizers of this annual event, including the distinguished host committee, and with the amazing continued support of the Paradise Valley Baha'i community, are a testament to putting belief into action. On behalf of the town, I would like to express my deep gratitude for their tireless efforts in doing all the hard and heartfelt work to put together an annual celebration of Dr. King that honors Dr. King's legacy and aspirations, enriches each of us, and gives many of us, including me, an excellent example and reminder of the power of positive thinking and, more importantly, positive action. I would also like to express appreciation and admiration for all of the students who participated in this year's essay contest. What does it mean to do the right thing? A great question to which the students provided many thoughtful and thought-provoking responses. Thank you to all who worked hard to enlighten us with their ideas. It is painful for us not to be able to find strength in being together as we have in the past. There's no substitute for sharing the same space, greeting each other warmly, and breaking bread together in celebration, remembrance, and renewed dedication. Nevertheless, I am confident we can all find inspiration and strength from our sharing of this moment, the ideas and knowledge we will exchange, and of the belief, hope, and action that will lead us to an even better, brighter, and more just future for all. Thank you for joining us. Hello and welcome to the first ever virtual Paradise Valley Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration, which is, I believe, the 23rd annual event. I am Mayor Jerry Bien Wilner of the town of Paradise Valley, and I'm very proud and honored to welcome you all to this wonderful event. This has been a challenging year around the globe in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Many other challenges have also surfaced or resurfaced this year, including, of course, the continuing struggles for racial justice and equality. Many have suffered greatly, and many continue to suffer. While we are optimistic that things will get better, and belief is always the first part of forward movement, it takes more than belief. It takes action from all of us. Fittingly, the theme chosen by the host committee of this year's celebration is Belief into Action. I have been very privileged to see the belief and experience the action of the Paradise Valley community to continue the bend towards justice as we focus on and continue to pursue equal rights, equal justice, and a better future for all. The organizers of this annual event, including the distinguished host committee, and with the amazing continued support of the Paradise Valley Baha'i community, are a testament to putting belief into action. On behalf of the town, I would like to express my deep gratitude for their tireless efforts in doing all the hard and heartfelt work to put together an annual celebration of Dr. King that honors Dr. King's legacy and aspirations, enriches each of us, and gives many of us, including me, an excellent example and reminder of the power of positive thinking and, more importantly, positive action. I would also like to express appreciation and admiration for all of the students who participated in this year's essay contest. What does it mean to do the right thing? A great question to which the students provided many thoughtful and thought-provoking responses. Thank you to all who worked hard to enlighten us with their ideas. It is painful for us not to be able to find strength in being together as we have in the past. There's no substitute for sharing the same space, greeting each other warmly, and breaking bread together in celebration, remembrance, and renewed dedication. Nevertheless, I am confident we can all find inspiration and strength from our sharing of this moment, the ideas and knowledge we will exchange, and of the belief, hope, and action that will lead us to an even better, brighter, and more just future for all. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor B.N. Wilner. On behalf of the local spiritual assembly of the Baha'is of Paradise Valley, I would like to thank you and the city for your support and partnership in this most important and worthy celebration. Good morning. It's with great pleasure that I welcome everyone to this event. I'm often asked as to what was the motivation of the Baha'i community 23 years ago to spearhead and to continue to date organizing Dr. King's birthday. This motivation goes back to the principle of the oneness of human race, which is the center core belief of the Baha'i faith. This belief aligns with Dr. King's vision of ending discrimination and, importantly, achieving racial unity across our multicultural society. Dr. King conveyed this in so many of his mesmerizing speeches, forever immortalizing his legacy in the world consciousness. We believe that the divisions, injustices, and tribulations now encompassing the entire human race are the consequences of humanity's failure to understand and embrace this essential principle of oneness at the intellectual level and, more importantly, at the heart level. How else can we address the threats of climate change, gender discrimination, unfair distribution of resources, racial cleansing, poverty, and the like of COVID-19 pandemics unless we awaken to the reality of our interdependence and our survival completely dependent on full global collaboration? In conclusion, paraphrasing from the Baha'i literature, the world has contracted to a neighborhood, and what we do in America impacts not only our own country, but the entire planet. We should never forget that the richness of our diversity and our founding ideals of liberty and justice attract the eyes of the world, who will be influenced by what we achieve or fail to achieve. It is not an exaggeration to say that world peace is directly linked to our success in resolving the issue of racial injustice. It is not a coincidence that the theme of this year's Martin Luther King Day celebration is belief into action, and the subject for the essay contest is what does it mean to do the right thing. Baha'u'llah said, "So powerful is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth." May that light grow brighter with every passing day. Thank you all for participating, and our special thanks to John Winterstein, who, as the Chief of Police 23 years ago, embraced our initiative with open heart and open mind.
We are so privileged to have Pastor Joe Watson back for the 5th year in a row with her marvelous voice to brighten our celebration. She performs for us from Colorado, where she is a Christian church minister. She will sing Wonderful World first.
Martin Luther King's dream was about hope. Hope for tomorrow. Hope for a better world. A hope for a world where the color of our skin does not determine what justice we are afforded, or it does not determine what lot we have in life. Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you lose hope, somehow you lose the vitality that keeps you moving. You lose that courage to be, that quality that helps you go on in spite of it all. And so today, I still have a dream. That is what Martin Luther King said. Like Dr. King, we must hold on to the hope for a better world. Hold on to the hope for a better tomorrow. And we must have the courage to fight for equality, to fight for justice, and to fight for a world that affirms the human dignity of all men and women as created in the image of God. Hope. Hope for tomorrow. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll know much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
It is my great honor to introduce Sharon Ceni, this year's honoree. She rightfully joins a very distinguished group of leaders and champions for civil rights and justice in being recognized for her achievements. Sharon Ceni has a certain respect for life and for humanity and is not afraid to stand up for what's right. She has worked for many years as a conduit for positive change by connecting thinking to productive actions. She knows her impact provides a sense of community and shared responsibility. Sharon's beliefs in traditional Hopi and Navajo teachings have been the foundation which helps her stay motivated. By creating a positive momentum and synergy in the mind, her work easily encourages kindness, empathy, respect, and civility through her interactions. She has extensive experience in the behavioral health care field, lasting 16 years, before transitioning to a new career path in 2012. Sharon had earned a master's degree in public administration with an undergraduate degree in American Indian Studies, legal policy, and community development. As a veteran, the words and actions of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and many others, including her own ancestors, resonate a strong sense of purpose with those who fought and continue to fight for equitable justice, fair practices, and non-discrimination. She is thankful for all of her diverse experiences, her work, community relationships, and her important role as the program administrator for the City of Scottsdale's Office of Diversity and Inclusion. It is, again, an honor to be a part of recognizing and thanking Sharon for her great work in the community and her dedication for a better present and future, and to welcome her, on behalf of the town of Paradise Valley, to share her perspectives with us. Sharon, thank you very much and welcome.
Nejone yat ahyaha. Zenjikina nishle. Kis ani Hopi Fire Clan Bushajin. Honagatni Deshij do Hopi Sun Clan Deshinale. Hello relatives. My name is Sharon Ceni and I'm really happy to be here with you today. First, let me translate what I said in my Diné language. I introduced my 4 clans because this is a part of my balance and harmony. My first clan is my mother's clan, and she is Senjikine. We are Senjikine. My mother is the late Sarah George. My second clan is my father's clan. It's who I'm born for. We are Fire Clan from the village of Kikoksmovi, and my father is Melvin George Sr. My third clan is my Che, my mother's father, and he is from the clan Honagatni, one that walks around. My fourth clan is my paternal grandfather, born for the Sun clan, also from the village of Kikoksmovi. My grandfather is Sankey George. My grandmother is Rosalind Brown from my Diné side, and my grandmother on my paternal side is Idella George. I'm originally from Winslow, Arizona, born and raised, and so if you know Winslow, it's actually on Interstate 40, just east of Flagstaff. And but my homeland is, I consider, Ganado, and which is right, pretty much right in the middle of the Navajo Nation, just like my other nation, Hopi Nation. And we live in these 4 sacred areas with purpose, because this is where we believe we're supposed to be housed. This is our lands. This is where our prayers have been. This is where our stories lie. So that's why our homeland in this area is so sacred. My name, as I said, was Sharon Ceni, and I am Hopi and Navajo. My daughter is Nakota, and she's 23 years old. And my husband is Virgil Pinto, and he is the chief of police at the Hopi tribe, although he is Navajo. And I want to extend a thank you to the local spiritual assembly of the Baha'i of the Paradise Valley, the Martin Luther King Planning Committee, and Mayor Bien Wilner for your commitment and that dedication to the words and ideas of Dr. Martin Luther King. This committee has done a great job in its promotion of fair treatment, creating a sense of belonging, and supporting equity for all. And in today's talk, this is going to allow me to share some significant experiences with you that I've actually had in my lifetime. And as a Native youth, growing up in Winslow, I loved going back to the reservation. It was a time where everything was still living off the land. My people are sheep herders, we're farmers, we're rug weavers, and we're also medicine people. And so going back always gave me a rejuvenation and gave me a very freeing kind of way of thinking, and loved it. It was so much fun. We played in the dirt, we got all messy. It was really great. So when growing up in Winslow, I saw some things that relate to prejudice and racism. And as a young girl, I didn't really understand why people were treating my people in this manner. Things that were stereotypical, things that were said to them that were prejudice. And it was really based upon what they were seeing, right? The way that they looked, maybe the way they sounded with their choppy accent because they didn't speak fluent English. And these are my people. These are folks that I can relate to. So when I see an elder doing laundry at the laundromat, then I see them as a relative. And I didn't really understand why people would treat somebody like that differently and kind of in a mean way. Lots of joking that was happening. This was really the first time that I had to engage what I had learned from my traditional ways of thinking, to respect our elders, to respect the language, to respect our way of life, because this is how we have survived after generation and generation. And it was because of these teachings that I began to recognize the experience of racism and prejudice, and specifically our human behavior. I had to rely and learn and observe and watch from other people, and sometimes many people didn't say anything. They just ignored it and just walked away, and there are others who did stand up, and my mother did that. She would assert herself into a place when she saw something that was wrong and wanted to intervene in that. And that actually helped me recognize a little bit of a toughness that she had. Now, my mother grew up, as I mentioned, a very traditional way, growing up in a hogan, sleeping on a sheep's skin as a bed, and on top of that, having to go to boarding school most of her childhood. So she had developed a toughness that I came to admire. And so looking and seeing these observations that I was seeing, I wanted to make sure that I understood why people were behaving in that way. So I knew that I had, even though I was shy and even though I was a little scared, I had to take these little risks to make sure that I developed myself as I was growing up and not be afraid when I saw something that was right. And it was my beliefs, my Navajo beliefs and my Hopi beliefs, that carried me through those times. Now, so let's see, kind of moving up to 1989 when I was graduating from high school. I actually graduated from high school. I was 17 years old. And I decided I wanted to join the military. And so my mother was pretty shocked about that. But she knew that that was something that I had my heart set on. And I gave her all the reasons why I wanted to leave Winslow and go out into the world. So what she did is she created she arranged a protection ceremony. Protection ceremony was very, very important to me because I didn't know who I was going to meet in the world. And I did. She was absolutely right. There are many people from across the country that I had no idea what their culture was, their beliefs, their own experiences. And I'm so happy to say that I am still in contact with those friends that I met way back when. But one of the things, as I reflect onto my military experience, is that I had a moment of clarity. I actually discovered that I had a prejudice. And so it took me some time to reflect back on how that happened, especially when I had such a strong connection to my culture and to these teachings. But yet here I was identifying that I had a prejudice. And here's how it started. It was because I was a naive young woman, and I believed people when they shared stories about a specific group of people. Now, these single stories were not very kind. They were very stereotypical, but I didn't know any better. So when they were telling me these, all I could do was believe them. Where the prejudice came in and how our beliefs can actually, especially if they're negative beliefs, they can actually turn into negative actions as well, and that's exactly what happened to me. I started acting differently towards this specific group of people. I found myself kind of snubbing them or ignoring them or doing things passive-aggressively, and I unconsciously was just doing it, and it was because of what was shared with me back then. But here's the profound thing and the most important discovery about that, and for all of us, we may have stories like that. In particular, I had an opportunity to observe this group firsthand through my own experiences where I saw them and related to their humanity. I saw this group of people now as someone very similar to me, right? Because the group of people I'm talking about are Filipinos. And so this group of folks were having a banquet one time, and I was sitting at a restaurant, and I was alone. I was ready to get out of the military, and I was missing home, and I was by myself. And in walks these groups of people, and I was watching them, and elders were coming in, and children were coming in. And I started recognizing them. For example, there was someone who looked just like my dad. And I continued to watch and saw my auntie. And then I realized, wow, they really look like me. And to have that identity and that connection to humanity was an instantaneous thing that happened to me, which I realized, holy cow, I was stereotyping and I was being prejudiced because of something that somebody else told me about. And that's really, really important, I think, for us to think about, because some of those negative beliefs can actually turn into negative actions. And so we can actually do some other cool things like do some self-reflection with regards to making those changes, right? You know, the events of 2020 revealed systemic racism. It revealed injustices. It caused loss of life and property, not to mention the pandemic that we are in currently. You know, I mentioned balance and harmony, and that kind of behavior and that kind of action that was happening in society and is still happening in society is disharmony, and it's caused by this conflict. And in fact, what we can do is support one another, help one another. And we've seen that process. When we help and we're acknowledging one another, we recognize one another, and we see our humanity, what that's doing is it's bringing our community back together. And we see a lot of that as well. So as human beings, you know, how does this happen to us? Our brains are processing super fast, and we're scanning for race, we're scanning gender, we're scanning age, and it happens so quickly, and sometimes we can have a snap judgment. And those snap judgments can cause the action. So here's what I'm recommending, and it's something that I practice all the time. Let's pause and let's be aware of what we're thinking and why we're feeling the way we're feeling. Because we can be empowered to change that. We can change our thoughts to something different and challenge a stereotype, just like what I did with regards to this false narrative that I had created a prejudice against. And so we can do that by pausing and being aware. And sometimes we have to challenge others to make sure that we are being respectful, or maybe we need a moment of clarity to ask the question, what do you mean by that? And giving them that opportunity, because we don't want to assume that they are racist or bigots, but maybe giving them the opportunity and the space to explain themselves and go, oh, okay. Or if it is something racist or stereotype that we can actually say, you know, I know you mean well, but that was racist, that was disrespectful, however you want to say it. So there's a couple little things that we can do as a society to do that. Now, another tip is exploring with respectful curiosity. In fact, my work today at Scottsdale has a lot to do with that, in creating the spaces, our community events, our education, now online virtual events, our partnerships with other people across the valley. We do that because we want to set that tone for respectful curiosity. And it is so important that we do that, because what it does it helps reduce the fears and makes them irrelevant. And so keeping in mind that experiencing new type of things outside of our comfort zone is really the learning that we're looking for. And I owe my teachings to my clans that guided me. In fact, the story that I shared and some of the things that I went through in my life, I started with my mother and the land and where we came from and how important that was. Then I went into my father, where the father represents protection. And so I was beginning to learn, how do I protect people when I observe and I know when something's wrong. Then I went into my third clan, which was my Che, which really helps us with our behaviors and getting to know ourselves. And I did that when I was in the military and broke that prejudice. The fourth one is really all about discipline and respect. So these are the guidances that I mentioned, that I'm saying that my clans give me, not only to learn about myself, but also to my community. And in closing, I encourage you to continue to develop yourself and others around you. And we need to have these important conversations so we can courageously connect with one another. We have our own truth. We have our own stories. So let's continue to share those type of things, our stories, so we can continue to see our society, our families, and we as individuals go in a good direction. You and I are part of the solution. And in closing, I want to say, in beauty before me, in beauty behind me, a beauty above me, a beauty below me, and beauty within my heart. I wish each and every one of you a blessed day and peace of mind. Thank you very much.
It is our honor to present the Town of Paradise Valley celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day 2021 Diversity Award presented to Sharon Ceni.
Thank you. Thank you for the support of the community, the Baha'i community, in putting this together, and all the host committee. We genuinely appreciate you. It's a great honor to hand this over to you, Sharon. Thank you for your wonderful work in the community and all that you do. And it's a great privilege to recognize you this year as the honoree. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It is my honor. Appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pastor Joe Watson will now lift us up by performing That's What Friends Are For.
And I never thought I'd feel this way. And as far as I'm concerned, glad I had the chance to say that I do believe I love you. And if I should ever go away, well then close your eyes and try to feel the way we feel today. And then if you can remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me for sure. That's what friends are for. In good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Well, you came and opened me, and now there's so much more I see. And so by the way, I thank you. And then for the times that we're apart, well then close your eyes and know the words are coming from my heart. And then if you can remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me for sure. That's what friends are for. In good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. 2020 has been a year of struggle and loss for many of us. But it is my prayer that the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace and love as you trust Him. That we love deeper than we have ever loved before. And that we value all those things and people that we may have taken for granted. So hold on to hope. And until we meet again next year, be blessed. Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me for sure. That's what friends are for. In good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for.
Again, Elsa, congratulations on your winning essay. And you and your family should be very proud of that achievement. I'm very proud to be able to congratulate you, along with Sherry, who's from the Baha'i community, who have worked very hard to sponsor this essay contest and to join with the town in sponsoring the Martin Luther King Jr. Day that we celebrate at the town. This year, of course, because of COVID, we have to do things like so many other things by Zoom, but we did want to express gratitude and appreciation and congratulations for your great essay. So I'll turn it over to Sherry.
Thank you, Mayor. Elsa, I was very impressed by your thoughtful conversation with your mother about the topic of your essay, and you said doing the right thing can be many things. And for me, it is to be kind and loving, no matter what. That's very profound. And you also shared that how you put a stop to a guy who bullied you at school by practicing acts of kindness and love instead of revenge. So that reminds me of a beautiful quote that said, a thought of hatred must be destroyed by a more powerful thought of love. And you show that in your action. Congratulations for your winning essay and for your amazing, act of kindness and love. And hopefully your example for the rest of the children. Thank you. And with that, I pass on to our mayor for the presentation of the award.
Thank you, Elsa. I agree with everything Sherry said. I loved reading your essay. Your wisdom is definitely beyond your years. And the things that I learned from reading your essay were, number one, it reminded me of the importance of listening to your feelings in making important decisions, but also talking to the people you love and you trust when you have feelings about things to help you process those feelings and try to do the right thing, and to have the honesty with yourself to know those things, and then also in listening to your feelings and listening, in this case, to your family, to be able to use that to have empathy for somebody else and try to understand somebody else, and to take a bad situation and turn it into a good situation. So that really struck me about your essay, and I think the courage that you showed, not only in doing what you did, but also writing about that situation, is very commendable, and you're a well-deserved winner of this recognition for doing that, and I hope it feels good to you to be recognized for doing the right thing, and in this case, writing a great essay about doing the right thing. So congratulations on behalf of the town and the town council, and we really congratulate you for what you've done. Well, Sherry, did you have anything to add?
No, congratulations. It's amazing for the children your age to be so, aware and virtuous. Thank you. Hopefully you're the example for the rest of them. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's nice your parents can join you, and you've honored the community with your essay, and you honor your parents. So again, congratulations, and we're wishing you a happy new year and a great rest of the school year, and here's to hoping that everything goes great for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, congratulations again. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Well, hello, everybody. It's Mayor Jerry Van Wilner with the Town of Paradise Valley, here to recognize our essay award winners, sponsored once again, which we're very grateful for, by the Baha'i community in their tradition in Paradise Valley of working with the town to support the Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. And so with that, I will turn it over to Sherry.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Shari Romian. I'm a chairperson of the local spiritual assembly of Baha'is of Paradise Valley. Christina, congratulations on your winning essay. I was told that you would like to read a line or two from your essay. Would you like to go for do it?
So the lines that I have chosen is from the ending portion of the last paragraph. And it states, doing the right thing is not from the faint of heart. It requires our courage, strength, and conviction. Finally, to be a role model for this philosophy requires selflessness and humility. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. embodied all these traits.
Thank you, Christina. I also made a note that I love the quote that you said, integrity is doing the right thing when no one is watching, by C.S. Lewis, and I really love that. And also, you, among other thoughtful comments, you said that doing the right thing is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage, strength, and conviction. And that's so true. It reminds me of a beautiful quote that says, the betterment of the world can be accomplished through pure and good deeds, through commendable and seemly conduct. So congratulations, and I will pass it on to our mayor for the award presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I wish I'm virtually handing you the award. I wish we could do it in person, that we weren't dealing with these health problems. Oh, there you go. That's beautiful. It's well deserved. Your essay was fantastic. I read every word, and I especially liked how you began the essay talking about how doing the right thing takes integrity, and it takes being able to do the right things when no one's watching. And that's very wise, in my opinion, because we're usually not watched by other people, and developing that habit of always trying to do the right thing serves you really well. And I can tell you, in my public life, I always try to do the right thing. I make mistakes sometimes, like we all do, where I look back at things and I think to myself, I could have done that better or differently. But I think the way that you framed with your wise words and learning from the examples of other leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I'm sure your parents and loved ones and other people around you who have influenced you, I'm grateful that I was raised and was around people who taught me to always try to do the right thing when no one's watching, because then it just gets easier when people are watching. You don't have to think about it. You just do what you would always do and do it the best way you can. So we're very proud of you. We thank you for doing this great work. I wish, like I said, that we could be doing things the way we normally do, but it takes even extra courage and strength to do the work that you did during the pandemic, and we hope school's going well. And just wanted to thank you and congratulate you again. Great job.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both
Is there
so much. As her parents, we're very proud of her as well, and we appreciate you taking the time to recognize her achievement. We were lucky enough to be a part of the ceremony when she went in 5th grade, and so we know that's normally such a wonderful celebration, a big deal. But we appreciate you still doing something and getting the award. So,
No, thank you, and I appreciate for participating there.
thank you.
Well, we wouldn't miss it. Congratulations again, and stay healthy and stay well, and great work. And thank you for taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Sherry, bye-bye.
Anything
Bye.
else?
Sherry, did you have anything else?
Oh, no, that's all from me.
Okay, well, thank you both. Thank you very much. And again, congratulations. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Our third essay contest winner is Claudia Primus, who is an 8th grade student at Phoenix Country Day School. Unfortunately, we had technical difficulties during the congratulatory Zoom call with the mayor. Therefore, I'll be filling in. My name is Nicola Menta, and I'm a member of the MLK committee. I would like to read a quote from Claudia's essay. What is doing the right thing? Is it standing on the sidelines while someone gets bullied? Or is it standing up for that person while possibly sacrificing yourself? Doing the right thing is when you do what is right, no matter the consequences to yourself. Whether it be standing up for something you believe in or protecting a loved one, often it results in self-sacrifice. We appreciate Claudia's insightful essay, and we are honored to give her the 2021 MLK Essay Contest Award for the 8th grade class. And now we'll hear from Dr. Farshad Marvasti, who is a physician, educator, and writer.
Good morning. It is my pleasure and privilege to be able to speak with you today. This is an unprecedented year with the global pandemic that has impacted each and every one of us. The vision of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King is more important today than ever before, where he said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and that we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Isn't it true how we have seen the impact of this pandemic to be the great unveiler, which has shown that we are really tied in a single garment of destiny? Never before has humanity been faced with a challenge of epic proportions that impacts everyone. What affects one of us in one part of the world affects all of us. And we can see how this has really been magnified by this pandemic. And it has unveiled certain ugly realities and injustices that continue to assail us. The fact that the COVID-19 pandemic has disproportionately impacted Black and Brown communities, with higher risks of dying in these communities than in white and other populations, we can see the vestiges and the continued persistence of the systemic structural racism that is part of the legacy of slavery that continues to persist in our country, that is unbecoming of the principles that our nation was founded on. As the National Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is of the United States has said in its vision statement for race unity, racism is the most challenging issue confronting America, a nation whose ancestry includes every people on earth, whose motto is e pluribus unum, whose ideals of freedom under law have inspired millions throughout the world, cannot continue to harbor prejudice against any racial or ethnic group without betraying itself. Racism is an affront to human dignity, a cause of hatred and division, a disease that devastates society. This is something that we can heal. This is something that we can overcome. The way we do that, not only by events like today, but transforming these beliefs and understandings of how racism is really the original pandemic, the original sin that has been impacting us for hundreds of years, that needs to be removed and needs to be healed. Taking that belief and taking that recognition, we have to move it to action. It is true that it is difficult to take a look at all of this, but in the words of the famous African-American playwright James Baldwin, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. So here we are with this pandemic, and we are now faced with an opportunity and a crisis, but this opportunity is for us to transform our belief into action. As Baha'is, we join our fellow brothers and sisters in the world in affirming the single nature of the human race. That is to say that there is only one race, and that is the human race. And biology has confirmed this already, where there are no significant genetic differences between the socially constructed races. Yet people are disproportionately harmed and impacted by structural racism that results in poor health outcomes, now with the pandemic, but has been the case even before this pandemic, and disproportionate access to opportunities from violence, from officials to others. And these are all things that injustice that we need to kind of overcome. But the way that we overcome these injustices and the way that we transform our beliefs about the oneness of humanity into action is not through force, not through more anger or through fighting. Darkness, as Dr. King said, cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. You can call it moral, spiritual, you can call it material, both of those combining together. We need to have both. We need to recognize not only the science, the math, the technology, the arts, the humanities, but we also have to recognize that we're all part of one human family. And that when one member of the family is suffering, all of us are suffering. And that's why we need to act locally in order to effect change globally. In the Baha'i writings, it says that the betterment of the world is accomplished by pure and goodly deeds. And Baha'u'llah says, let deeds, not words, be your adorning. That the essence of faith is fewness of words and abundance of actions. So let's take the thoughts and the sentiments that we hear today, and let's take those into action and find ways that we can serve others, recognizing the fact that even though it seemed on the surface that things are okay, as Dr. King says, true peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. And for us to bring about that justice, we need to act in such a way that we are reflecting that vision of race unity, that concept of unity, not with sameness, not making everyone follow one color, one path, but rather unity in diversity. In the Baha'i writings, it is said, know ye not why we created you all from the same dust, that no one should exalt himself over the other. Ponder at all times in your hearts how you were created. As we know, we were all created from the same dust, and to that same dust we will all return. And in the end, we have to recognize that life's most persistent and urgent question, as Dr. King has said, is what are you doing for others? So let's ask that of ourselves. And as we listen to the talks from this program, as we read the essays that were written by our youth for the essay contest this year, and as we think about how things are changed and what are the silver linings of opportunity now that the veils have been lifted because of this pandemic that has impacted so many, what is it that we can do to actually unfurl the banner of justice, unfurl the banner of the oneness of humanity, and recognize the vision that Dr. King has given us so that we're no longer fighting with each other, right? Recognizing that our fight and challenges with the challenges that come our way, the challenges like a viral pandemic like COVID-19, the challenge of structural racism. These are things that hold back humanity. And as it's said in the Baha'i writings, most recently about racism, again, how critical it is for us to be able to eliminate this. It is a profound deviation from the standard of true morality. It deprives a portion of humanity of the opportunity to cultivate and express the full range of their capability and to live a meaningful and flourishing life while blighting the process of humankind. It's not an issue of one people, as it says here. It cannot be rooted out by contest and conflict. It must be supplanted by the establishment of just relationships among individuals, communities, and institutions of society that will uplift all and will not designate anyone as other. The change required is not merely social and economic, but above all, moral and spiritual. And as Dr. King says, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. And that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. And at this time, let us all rise up to transform these beliefs into action. That it is these truths that are self-evident, that all men and women, that all people are created equal, and that we must get to that more perfect union, that more perfect union that embraces diversity, that is strengthened by that diversity, that grows stronger every day. We are a nation of immigrants and we are proud of our diversity. And we can see that beautiful tapestry of humanity shining and shimmering in the light of our sun here in the Valley of the Sun. So with that, I want to thank everyone again for the opportunity to be able to share some thoughts and hope that we will be able to transform the opportunities into reality and we can find that vision that Dr. King has given us. Thank you.
And we must either learn to live together as brothers, or we're all going to perish together as fools. Yes, as nations and individuals, we are interdependent. It really boils down to this, that all life is interrelated. We are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny, and whatever affects one directly, yes, sir, affects all indirectly. We are made to live together because of the interrelated structure of reality. Did you ever stop to think that you can't leave for your job in the morning without being dependent on most of the world? You get up in the morning and go to the bathroom and reach over for a sponge, and that's handed to you by a Pacific Islander. You reach for the bar of soap, and that's given to you at the hands of a Frenchman. And then you go in the kitchen to drink your coffee for the morning. That's poured in your cup by a South American. Or maybe you want tea. That's poured in your cup by a Chinese. Or maybe you are desirous of having cocoa for breakfast, and that's poured in your cup by a West African. And then you reach over for your toast, and that's given to you at the hands of an English-speaking farmer, not to mention the baker. And before you finish eating breakfast in the morning, you're dependent on more than half of the world. This is the way our universe is structured. It is its interrelated quality. We aren't going to have peace on earth until we recognize this basic fact of the interrelated structure of all reality.
What a wonderful celebration. Normally at this time, we have a lot of thank yous to recognize people, but this year, many of them will be in the final credits to this video. However, some folks who have done so much for us to make this possible deserve a little extra recognition. First, the local spiritual assembly of the Baha'is of Paradise Valley for more than 20 years, 23 years actually, of support financially and in terms of volunteers. Second, the town of Paradise Valley, which has done many things for us to make this event possible, including allowing us to set up a recording studio here in the council chamber. They also allowed us to set up the donation boxes for the National Day of Service MLK food drive, which we've conducted. Incidentally, more food has already been collected this year than any year except the very first year that we did the food drive. This is desperately needed. After the holidays is a very tough time for food banks, and during the pandemic has been an especially tough time. This food is donated to the Paradise Valley Emergency Food Bank on 32nd Street. Third, we thank the teachers, administrators, and parents who made the essay contest possible. A special thank you to Dr. Farshad Marvasti and Ms. Sharon Ceni for the motivating, uplifting remarks that they made for us. and to Pastor Joe Watson for lending her lovely voice to our celebration. We thank Mayor Jerry Bien Wilner and Ms. Sherry Baharamian for their help, especially making multiple recordings, days to get this all done. And finally, my warmest personal appreciation to the committee, which has worked all year to bring this to fruition. I thank the co-chair, Nika Ramsey, Secretary Taj Sabat, Celebration Video Executive Producer Nicholas Menther, Baha'i Local Spiritual Assembly Liaison Dr. Kamran Ruintan, and the other members of the committee, Leva Maani, Connie Sana, Kana Chinasemi, Nila Ofer Nicknam, and Ramiro Russell. Friends, we've just had a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to refresh our understanding of Dr. Martin Luther King and his vision for a world where all people respect and love each other, where peace reigns. In 2021, after the events of 2020 that challenged our American society, let us each, in our own way, recommit to do what we can do as individuals to bring Dr. King's vision a few steps closer to reality. Let us turn beliefs into action starting today. Our great nation faces major challenges, and the peaceful transition to new leadership demands the participation and support of all of us. During the next 12 months, please make time to reflect on Dr. King's ideals on a regular basis and to consider what you can do to foster them in your day-to-day life of our community and nation. See you next year in person.